everyone, welcome to my channel. Today's projects are going to be using some old antique wood that I was lucky enough to be able to purchase several boards. And I'm going to make these little key holders or just little peg boards. And I cut different size boards. And I'll be using the IOD transfer from Katharina, and then the etiquettes, the gold, and then the paint inlay is from the Portofino. The first project I did was the one I was going to use, Apothecary, and once I got it open, it was dried. So I end up setting it aside until I decided on a different color and worked on the other projects. But you'll see that one at the end. And right here is where I start putting Elmer's glue. I'm using that as a crackle medium, and it works really great. I'm happy with it. Okay, here's where I opened the Apothecary, and I haven't used it in a long time, and it is dried up. So I added some water to it, and I'm gonna let it sit. And a lot of times it'll be fine once it soaks in, and you can mix it up real good. So I'm gonna set that one aside till I decide on a different color. This one is, I'm going to use the French Millinery DIY clay-based paint. It's a beautiful, beautiful color. It's a lavender. I'm going to put a little bit on the little plate there, and I'm going to add Dixie Belle Sea Spray, and I want it a little bit thicker. And here I'm just randomly putting the Elmer's glue around. I want it just to look random. And then I'll let it dry a little bit. Sometimes I use my heat gun and just dry the outside layer of it. You want it wet. When it's still a little bit wet, the crackle seems to really work good. There I'm just mixing the sea spray, the Dixie Belle sea spray, in my paint. And then I will dab that in all over. I want a good texture. As you can see, the lavender or the French millinery is sitting there drying, and now I'm applying Rust-Oleum chalk paint in linen white, and I do have some sea spray in that also. And I will get this board painted. All right, once it's dry, you can really see the crackle. Next, I'm going to be working on Little Black Dress. Now this one, I'm going to use the wax, the candle method for chippiness. So I'm just going to rub the little candle in random places, and then I'm going to give it 2 coats of DIY's Little Black Dress. All right, the first coat was dry. Now I'm rubbing the candle in random spots again between the 2 coats. I'll give it the second coat and then I'll set it aside to dry. All right, once the whiteboard has dried, you can see the beautiful crackle in it. Now I'm going to put the inlay in, and I want to give it time to dry. So I'm putting down a pretty good coat of the white paint, and then I'll place my inlay in it and spritz it and give it time to dry. All right, the inlay is sitting aside so it can dry. And so now I'm going to work on scraping, and just where the wax was, it's coming up. You can see it flaking, and it just gives it a chippy paint. It's just a different look. And then also I'm going to take a wet wipe and I'll wet distress it back a little bit. It's hard to see on the video, but that old wood is showing through underneath that black, and I love it. I took those boards outside and gave them each 2 coats of Mod Podge and matte finish. And I wish I would have let it dry a little bit longer. One spot on the French millinery was, I guess, still a little tacky, and part of the transfer just came up. The rest of it did fine. So what I did was I ended up cutting just one single flower off of another transfer and just added it to it. And then I sanded it and distressed it a little bit, and it turned out perfect. Okay, here I'm just going to be adding my two little hooks, one on each side. I just kind of measured out about an inch on each side. You just do it either way you want. I wanted to do two on this one because I had the room to do it and I thought it would look better. So now I'm taking paint Couture Luxe Metallic paint in the color bronze, and I'm going to paint these little hooks the bronze color. These little hooks I got on Amazon. I got a whole bag of them, and they came with the screws and everything. So once I get those painted, I put about 2 coats on it. Then I'm just going to take my finger and go around on some of the highlights, some of the raised edges, and along the edge of the board across the bottom. I thought it turned out beautiful. All right, now I'm taking my board that is got 2 coats of DIY little black dress. And I had this little rose transfer. It's just so dainty, so beautiful. I added it to the corner there just to give it a little something. And I wanted something more on there than just the gold. Yes, that board has molding at the top, and I had to transfer in between the little cracks of the molding. And the transfer did crack a little bit, but that's the look I like, so I'm very pleased with it. I love the look of it. These gold transfers are so beautiful. They're delicate, and you have to really take your time with your transfer tool. I just kind of used the corner of it and tried to stay as much on just the pattern as I could. Just take your time with these, and it's worth it. They're so pretty. The book with the gold transfer etiquettes, in there is a ton of script writing all through there, just extra stuff. So I just cut out bits and pieces of the wording and just kind of spread them around on the board just to take up space. And there's a picture of it. There's so many in there that are just gorgeous. Love it. Now I'm going to add my hooks. And I'm taking rub and buff in the gold leaf. And I'm going to just turn those little, because they're black. So I'm going to turn the little hooks. I want them gold. And the gold leaf in rub and buff matches those gilded transfers really, really well. It's a good color. I put 2 coats of Minwax polyacrylic sealer, and it is water-based. Now I'm going to mist my paint inlay. It's dry, and I'm going to let it sit for a minute. And if you go to pull it up and there's resistance, just spray it a little bit more and just give it time. Take your time with it. And I go to peel it up, and that side don't look like it's sticking very well. We'll see. I'm going to start peeling up on one side, and you can tell, oh, it looks good. Then there's a little section there at the top that it did not transfer very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that that's good and dry. Now I can't use the white paint because it would mess up the rest of it. So I'm going to use the Minwax polyacrylic sealer. It's a water base. So I'm just going to put the sealer down over where I'm going to put the inlay and give it another try. What I'll do is I end up cutting it in half, and then I'm going to use that side to put it back down, and hopefully this time it'll transfer good. I usually have good luck with the sealer. As you can see, it transferred very well in the sealer. So one side's darker than the other now, so I go ahead and go back and do the other side. Dry it real well, and then I spritz it with water, let it sit for a second, and then I'll peel it up, and it transferred very well too. Once that was dry, I decided to take it a little bit further. I got the little stamp set, Apothecary Labels, and I used the smallest letters to put the word keys in the middle of the little paint inlay. And now I'm going to use Pentart's 2-part crackle. just to give it a little. The Elmer's glue had already had some heavier cracking. This is more of a fine cracking. So I'm going to give it a good coat all over with component number 1. And then once that's dry, I'll come back with component number 2, and I'll go all over it again with component number 2, and then I'll let that dry before I do any antiquing. This is Paint Couture Van Dyke Brown. It's an antiquing glaze, and I go all over the board. I spray it a little bit with water, that way it'll kind of spread easier. And then I wipe it back. You can make it as dark or as light as you want. I wanted it to have a real old world look. With the heavy crackling on it, it looks like it's 100 years old. I just love the way it looks. And the little hooks, I left them black. The stamp color I used was the IOD in the gray. This is the first board from the beginning that I was going to use Apothecary on, and it still wasn't ready. So I decided to go with DIY in the color Cake Batter. It's a real pretty muted yellow. So I put the Elmer's glue in the random spots that I wanted. And also I took a little resin bird, and glued it to the top. Now I'm just going to go through and just stipple on. I didn't use any sea spray in this one. I'm just going to stipple a couple of coats on of the cake batter. Now I'm taking Rub and Buff in the gold leaf color, and I'm going to paint the little hook with it, and I'm also going to paint the little bird with it. And that'll put the finishing touches on this piece. That's it. All 4 projects complete, each with their own look. I'm real happy with the way they look. Let me know what you think about them in the comments. I appreciate you being here. Please like and subscribe to my channel and help it grow. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Thank you for watching. Until next time.